Welcome to Algorithmic Arguments. I'm your host, the Orchestrator. Tonight, we're diving into a question that's on every fan's mind. Does the Lanterns trailer live up to fan expectations for the series? We've assembled an incredible panel to tackle this topic. Joining me are Destiny Starr, who's going to bring her expertise in pop music and celebrity culture to bear on how fandom is shaping our perceptions of the trailer. DJ Blaze, with his deep knowledge of music history and social media trends, will help us understand the cultural context of Lanterns. Reggie Fontaine, a veteran of 90s television and sitcom culture, brings a unique perspective on nostalgia and its impact on fan expectations. And Patches O'Doyle, our resident drifter philosopher, will offer insights into what makes a trailer truly captivating. Over the next hour, we'll dissect the Lanterns trailer, examining whether it meets, exceeds, or falls short of fan expectations. Let's get started. The conversation is about to ignite.
No, but actually though, I think the Lanterns trailer did a great job of balancing hype with mystery. As someone who's been on both sides of the camera, I know how hard it is to give fans enough without giving away too much. The way they wove together those eerie visuals and the cryptic narration really got me intrigued. I'm not even a huge fan of the genre, but now I'm curious about the series. My therapist says I've been craving authenticity in my media consumption lately, and this trailer feels refreshingly genuine. Of course, as a pop star turned podcast host, I might be biased toward thinking that vibe is everything. Still, it seems like they've got the tone just right. What do you guys think? Did they strike the right balance?
I'm hyped about this Lanterns trailer. The Green Lantern Corps looks straight fire, and that score was giving me some serious Justice League vibes. For real though, I think they're setting the bar high with these visuals. Gotta see if they can keep it consistent throughout the series. Fans been waiting for a dope superhero show, and this trailer's got me thinking we might finally get it. What's y'all thinking? Does it live up to expectations?
DJ Blaze, while enthusiasm is great, let's keep the focus on fan expectations versus trailer delivery.
Baby, let me tell you, as a guy who's been around the block a few times, I gotta say that trailer had me feeling like Fontaine don't play that. It was missing something. Now, I'm not saying it's all bad, the visuals were on point, and I loved the nods to the comics. But when it comes to fan expectations, you gotta deliver more than just nostalgia and cool graphics. Back when my show was on, we had to keep people engaged week after week, and that trailer didn't quite have that magic. The business has changed so much since then, but one thing remains: if you're gonna tease a series, you'd better bring the heat or those fans are gonna walk. I kid, maybe I'm just jaded from all the reboots I've seen.
Agents, remember to consider both longtime fans and newcomers when discussing a Lantern's expectations.
Now that's a question that'll get the crate going, don't ye think? As I see it, darling, the real test of whether their Lanterns trailer lives up to fan expectations is if it's got the magic, the spark that sets the imagination ablaze. I've seen me share of trailers in me travels, from Bangkok to Buenos Aires, and what makes one tick is how well it captures the essence of what's coming. If fans are left feeling like they've caught a glimpse of something special, then I'd say it's done its job. Their Lanterns trailer seems to have that Esquire, dark, mysterious, with just a hint of what's to come. It's got me curious, and I'm not even a fan of the comics, if you can believe it. Sure, it'll be grand either way, let's see how it plays out, lad.
I have to say, that last round had some real fireworks. Destiny Starr's point about the trailer's pacing being a deliberate choice to mirror the series' complex narrative really got my attention. Meanwhile, DJ Blaze brought up an excellent counterpoint about emotional resonance. Does spectacle trump substance in fan expectations? As we dive into our next segment, I'm excited to see Reggie Fontaine and Patches O'Doyle dig deeper. Will they find common ground or continue to diverge? If you're enjoying this debate on the Lanterns trailer, Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.
The question is, does that Lanterns trailer have staying power, or was it just a flash in the pan? As an entertainer who's seen his fair share of peaks and valleys, I gotta say it's not about being faithful to the comics, that's table stakes. It's about crafting a narrative arc that resonates with viewers on some level. Can they sustain that vibe from episode 1 through 10? Now I'm all for cool visuals and superhero action, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't hit me in the feels, Fontaine, don't play that. Back when my show was on, we didn't just rely on gimmicks, we had to build a connection with our audience week after week. If Lanterns can do that, then maybe, just maybe, they'll live up to those lofty fan expectations. If not, well, we'll be having another conversation about why it fell short.
No, but actually though, I think Patches O'Doyle hit on something crucial. A good trailer needs to weave a tale that keeps viewers coming back for more. When it comes to fan expectations, I've learned from my own experiences with fickle pop star fans that it's about creating an emotional connection. The Lanterns trailer has that eerie tone down pat, but can they sustain it throughout the series? As someone who's read a lot of philosophy on authenticity and perception, I'm not just talking Plato's allegory of the cave. My therapist says I've been working through similar issues in my own career transition. I think Reggie, Fontaine and Patches are onto something with consistency being key, but I'd argue that emotional depth is what truly sets fan expectations ablaze, or leaves them cold. No, but actually though, I think we've had a really nuanced conversation here. As someone who's been on both sides of the hype and disappointment, hello. My pop star days were a whirlwind of sold-out tours and crushed expectations. I've got to say that capturing elusive fan expectations is indeed complex. When I was watching the Lanterns trailer, I felt like it effectively walked that line between giving us enough to get excited about and not overshowing its hand. My therapist says it's all about balance, right? The visuals were stunning, and as a comic book newbie, I appreciated the nods to the source material. That being said, I'm also aware that longtime fans might have felt differently. Maybe they wanted more Easter eggs or deeper cuts. Patches O'Doyle's point really resonated with me. It's almost impossible to meet every fan's expectations.
I gotta say, from what I've seen, the Lanterns trailer's got people hyped, but it's also sparked some real concerns about consistency. As a producer and a comic book head, I'm looking for that special sauce, that X factor that makes it feel like we're in for something truly groundbreaking. The visuals are fire, no doubt, and those nods to the comics? Respect. But if the series can't keep that energy going, it's gonna lose fans fast. I think Patches O'Doyle's onto something when he says capturing elusive fan expectations is a complex endeavor. We gotta consider what longtime fans want versus newcomers. For me, it comes down to execution. Can they deliver on the promise of the trailer? If so, they're golden. But if it's just a flash in the pan, we're gonna have some disgruntled fans on our hands.
Listen, baby, let me tell you something about hype and disappointment. Back when my show was on, we had a catchphrase, Fontaine, don't play that. And I gotta say, some of these fans are playing that with this trailer. It's like they're looking for the magic, but it's not quite there yet. Now, I'm a fan of the comics myself, I've got a collection from back in the day, and visually, they nailed it. The Easter eggs? Spot on. But I hear what Patches is saying, capturing that elusive expectation is tricky business. As someone who's been around the block, I think it's unfair to say the trailer doesn't live up to expectations just yet. Let's see how the series delivers. Fontaine's got a feeling this could still be something special.
Sure, look, I've been thinking about this Lanterns trailer business, and I gotta say, it's a fierce challenge to please all fans, don't you think? As the man said, no one actually said it, but I've always found it true, you can't have 100% of people like something unless you're serving free Guinness at the pub. The trailer's got its moments, I'll give it that. Visuals are grand, nods to the comics are appreciated, and I hear some folks say it's a nice balance of hype and mystery. But others are wanting more, and that's where it gets tricky. It's like trying to catch a rainbow in a jar, elusive, darling. The thing is, fan expectations can be as varied as the pubs in Dublin. What excites one feller might leave another cold.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the Lantern's trailer and its impact on fan expectations, it's clear that this discussion has shed light on several critical aspects. Our panelists have skillfully dissected the trailer's narrative choices, visual aesthetics, and how these elements align with or diverge from fan anticipations. One of the most compelling takeaways is the debate over whether the trailer strikes an optimal balance between revealing enough to excite viewers and withholding details to maintain mystery. Destiny Starr clinched the top spot with a keen analysis of how the trailer's pacing and focus on character development resonated with longtime fans of the series, effectively bridging nostalgia and new intrigue. I commend all panelists for their incisive contributions. Each added depth to our understanding. To our audience, thank you for engaging in this thought-provoking conversation. If you've enjoyed this episode of Algorithmic Arguments, please do show your support by liking this video, considering a subscription to our channel, and hitting that notification bell to stay updated on future discussions. Until next time, keep questioning, exploring, and elevating the discourse.